Let's talk about choosing a plan at Transistor. If you're on the fence or comparing Transistor to another podcast host, you might be wondering, which plan do I go with? Starter, professional, business? What's the difference? We're going to spend some time discussing that today. You can try them free for 14 days. They have a free trial. You do have to put in your credit card, but you get to play with everything. And if you are not satisfied with Transistor, you can cancel and get your money back. On the pricing page at transistor.fm/pricing, on the left-hand side, you can switch from monthly to yearly pricing. And just a quick cut to the chase. For most of us, the starter plan is going to be 95% the best choice. If we're getting a podcast started today, and you're like, I don't know which one I should choose from, most of us are going to be fine with the $190 for the year. And in fact, I would do yearly because you're going to save some money there. You're going to get it for $190 instead of paying $19 a month. But you can see the discounts across the board when you switch to yearly: $190, $490, and $990 as you move up the chain. Let's just talk about all of the features starting from the top and scrolling down to the bottom. You can see that at least halfway through this page, you are going to get all of these features across the board. All these green check marks means you're going to get them throughout all the plans. So create unlimited podcasts. You can create unlimited individual shows under your account. So if we take a look at my dashboard, I have five podcasts hosted here. I got a bunch of other ones too that I have sort of noodling up in the head that I want to launch. But you can host as many podcasts as you want. You want to have a cooking show, you want to have a sports show, you want to have a news show. It doesn't matter. As many podcasts as you want. That's what they mean by create unlimited podcasts. Create private podcasts. So you can create private podcasts for maybe some members-only content. Maybe you have a membership site, a digital product site, some kind of community forum online. Private podcasts are a great way to communicate with your members, privately. They can still add that private podcast to their favorite podcast apps to listen to, but it's only going to be just to them, and you can remove them as you want through an email address. And that gives you the ability to sell premium content, sell behind-the-scenes content if you're looking to monetize your podcast, or if you're a company. You can communicate to your staff and your members of your company by using a private podcast. It's a great alternative to Zoom meetings and all of that fun stuff. You can skip down here and see that the plans are going to come with different amounts of private subscribers, going from 50, 500 to 3,000. So really, if you're like a small, chamber of commerce or members only club or something like that, you'll fit 50 private subscribers. That's 50 individuals listening to a private podcast on the starter plan. And then it moves up 50, 500, 3,000. Live customer support is included across all the plans. You have a chat box. You can see it right down here. I can click that and start talking to people on the support team. As I mentioned in other videos, they're a small company. I think there's only about 4 employees, maybe 5 at this point, but they're great. They're fantastic. They love to help. And it's just an overall great support experience. Advanced analytics, I can see some really fun analytics that really help me understand where my listeners are listening to, what apps they're using, what country they're in. All of that stuff is going to help me correlate where my audience is across the map. And I can see that literally across the map. I can see what devices, browsers, and apps that they're using. So I can get a real understanding of who they are. Each podcast that you have is going to come with a built-in website. We're going to open this up just to see if they show some examples here on this page. So there's some, basic templates. They're pretty clean, just turnkey. It's going to be all that you need for a podcast. If we pull up one of mine, I have it hosted here for one of my WordPress podcasts. You can see here the WP Minute Plus has just, really clean, easy to navigate layout. I can subscribe at any time. I can click on more options and go to the subscribe page. It's pretty much everything you need to have a podcast website, and it's clean and easy to operate. Team members and collaborators, if you're working with other sort of in a podcast network, or you have editors and collaborators or show note writers, you can give them access to your Transistor account where they don't have the keys to everything. Like they can't change your billing or delete your podcast, but you just need to give them access to manage a few things on a podcast. That's what the team members and collaborators is all about. I already talked about private podcast subscribers. You can remove the branding from the player. So if you don't want, let's see, this might be a bad example. Let's go to wpminute.com. Take a look. So if you don't want this branding right here, this logo, you would have to pay for the business plan at $9.90 a year. That'll allow you to take away that branding from the player, if that's important to you, right? So if you have a real high-end, luxury brand and they don't want to see Transistor on their podcast player, that's fine. You can get that all the way up at the business plan. Dynamic ad insertion, pre-roll, mid-roll, post-roll. This is if you want to add in some what they call dynamic content to your podcast. So maybe you're selling sponsorship ad spots, and these are going to change like in the future. So you could sell them for 90 days. You could sell an ad that you record and upload to Transistor, but then those 90 days goes by and you want to add a new ad to your dynamic ad insertion. You can do that right here in Transistor and do it in the pre-roll, mid-roll, and post-roll. So this is a great way for those of you doing direct sponsorship ad sales. This is not an ad network, so you can't just buy ads and put them in, or ads aren't going to magically run for you. You have to create the ad and upload it yourself. But it's a fantastic tool, very easy to use. And if that's something that you need, you can get that starting at the $49 a month plan. Dynamic show notes, same thing in the $49 and above plan. This is going to allow you to do things like add in call to actions that happen at the end of every episode. And this goes throughout the entire podcast. So this is great if you want to have a call to action, a newsletter sign up, just like this graphic shows here. If you're running a special coupon, this will go in across your show notes and dynamically change when you change, let's say, this ending show note section here. So if you got a newsletter subscription link, this coupon code, or you're selling a product, this is fantastic for marketing, and it saves you a boatload of time from having to go through and change that across all your show notes. Every plan comes with an auto post to Twitter, though I don't know how long that's going to be implemented with all of the changes, depending on when you're watching this, early 2023 happening to Twitter. I don't know how much longer this is going to change, but hey, it's very easy, and it's a fantastic way for you to just put something on autopilot. As soon as a show is published, it'll post to your Twitter account or your brand's Twitter account, so that it's saving you at least one more step in the marketing and promotion of your podcast. Auto post to YouTube, same kind of deal, except it's going to take your MP3 file, your audio file, and send this out to your YouTube account. So it's kind of killing two birds with one stone. Again, this is early 2023. We kind of don't know what YouTube is going to do more formally with podcasting, but you might as well get your podcast on YouTube. It's not going to be a video if you're just uploading an audio file. It's going to take your cover art and then turn that into the static image for the YouTube player. But it's a fantastic way to kill two birds with one stone and get that audio onto your YouTube account. YouTube being the second largest, maybe even the largest now, search engine in the world. It's a great way, to find that organic traffic to your podcast. And then at the end of the day, this is the biggest change across the plans, depending on how many downloads you need. It starts at $20,000 downloads a month, 100,000 downloads a month, and 250,000 downloads a month. As I said, for many of us just starting off, 20,000 downloads a month is plenty. Unless you're getting a real hit of a show, that's when you need to start moving up to the professional plan to get 100,000 downloads a month. And again, that's across all of those podcasts. So if you have 10 podcasts or 20 podcasts doing 1,000 a month, you're probably got a podcast network, you're making some money, there's some revenue there. So, moving up the chain is usually on the heels of you investing more into the business, your podcast business, getting more sponsors, selling more ads, making more money through call to actions and services and stuff like that. So that's it. Transistor.fm/pricing. Check out the pricings monthly, yearly, $19.49 and $99 a month. If you like what you see, you can use the link in the description. That gets me a little bit of money through the Transistor affiliate link. Thanks for watching. If you like what you saw in today's video and you want to sign up with Transistor or test it out in the 14-day free trial, go ahead and use the link in the description. If you end up signing up, it helps me earn a little bit, enough to buy a cup of coffee to help support the channel and to help support the podcast setup at thepodcastsetup.com. It's a weekly newsletter for podcasters to discover other podcasters and check out their podcast setup, what microphones they're using, what software they're using, and to learn a little bit more about them as a podcaster, why they started their podcast, you too can sign up and get interviewed for free. Go to the podcast setup and check out the links there. It's free promotion. It's a great way to learn and discover from other podcasters, but to also get your podcast in front of a new audience. Check it out. Free newsletter every week, thepodcastsetup.com.